See how it goes. As I mentioned, we are celebrating All Saints and All Souls this morning. And All Saints is the day, November 1st, but we celebrate it the Sunday following, when we celebrate those people that the church has recognized and history remembers as really turning us toward God by their words, their actions, their writings, their prophecy. And so it's the saints that we typically think of, the disciples, the saints we talk about like St. Francis and St. Luke, and then some who are more recent, like St. Teresa of Calcutta. Lives are such an inspiration to us, and who have way from where we are, potentially, right? Like, who have done so much that we just think to look to emulate maybe one small piece of what they've done would be amazing in terms of their love and care of the world and their commitment to following Jesus. All Souls is November 2nd, and that is when we celebrate those folks that we have personally known and loved and who have died, and who, although no longer with us in physical form, we recognize in our faith tradition are still present to us. As they say, I believe in the book of Hebrews, the great cloud of witnesses, the company of saints, the folks who remain through their love, their care, and in our feeling of knowing a small taste of the sweet honey of what God's love and care is about. And so we are literally surrounded with their photos today, as folks have brought them in today. And I just want to remind you that they are with us all of the time. Sometimes that can be painful because we do want to be able to touch them and hold them. But that love has not left us. That relationship still remains and is ever present to us. And the love and care that they had for us and we have for them lives and will continue to live. And in fact, as we believe, we will be reunited with them following death when we are all together in the great kingdom or kingdom with God. And so I put a couple of different photos up, and I wanted to tell you, I did a few of folks who I didn't personally know, but who have really pointed me to love. And one of those people is Mr. Rogers. I love Mr. Rogers so much, and I believe he loves me because he would tell me that how cared for I was. And I just so value his message of inclusion and welcome and care, and that reminder that we are just right as we are. I don't know if you knew that he was a Presbyterian minister, and it was truly his ministry to offer this message and to be such an example of how to do better by others and the world by being kind and caring and showing up and not giving up on one another. I've talked before about my Aunt Jan, who I did know, obviously, a woman of great faith who just moved through the world as though life was a prayer. And it was so inspiring. You know, she would rejoice, she would pray for the suffering. She was constantly bringing up like just the miracle of creation and what had happened around us. And I just think of her so often as such a loving example of somebody who really worked to follow Jesus and offer in her corner of the world that glimpse, that taste of what's to come. I know sometimes when our loved ones have died, there's also some regret, some sense of we've missed the opportunity maybe for healing or to say some things that were unsaid. And so part of this understanding of the great cloud of witnesses is we haven't lost our chance. Unlike some traditions, we don't pray to our beloved dead. We do not believe that they act on our behalf, but we do believe that they are present to us and they are present to God And there are always opportunities to heal those things, regardless of whether we are in one another's physical presence. I really appreciated in today's gospel lesson, we heard the Beatitudes again, and one of the things that struck me about the Beatitudes this time is we heard all the great part, like, blessed are these people, blessed are those folks. And it's really nice to, imagine the people that we know that fit into those little categories. And sometimes we do, and, it feels all warm and fuzzy. And then there's the woes, right? Like, woe to those people, woe to that one. But what struck me is we are in all of it, right? Like, sometimes I'm the blessed one, and sometimes I'm the one that needs to be a little whoa. And I also thought, like, whoa, camel. Like, I need to slow down. I need to figure out my direction and get my act together, right? And so I think it's that beautiful reminder that as human beings, just as Jesus came and was human among us, we're going to experience all of it. And there are days when we are, as Paul told us in his letter this morning, looking at the world with the loving eyes of our hearts. I love that image, that our hearts could be eyes of love